We got classics, we got new stories, wild worlds to view. Samurai, swords to mecha might. Every episode ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. Anime unlock, turn it up. Energy blast, fill your cup. Anime unlock, turn it up. Energy blast, fill your cup. Old school, new school, never stop. It's a vibe, it's a drop, it's a bop, bop, bop. From the ninjas in the hidden mist to the stars where the myths exist. Villains rise, heroes fight, we're breaking it down every night. Enemy dreams in neon glow. Unfold the tales you need to know. From action-packed to heartfelt scenes, we're unlocking all your dreams. We got new stories, wild worlds to view. Samurai, swords to mecha might. Every episode ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. Samurai sword, ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. To view. Samurai swords to next to met the night. Every episode ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. Old school, new school, never stop. It's a vibe, it's a drop, it's a bop, bop, bop. From the ninjas in the hidden mist to the stars where the myths exist. Villains rise, heroes fight, we're breaking it down every night. Anime dreams in neon glow. Unfold the tales you need to know. From action-packed to heartfelt scenes, we're unlocking all your dreams. Lights flash, feel the bass, feel the smash. Black David Wally in the zone. Anime, you're locked, you're not alone. We got classics, we got new stories, wild worlds to view. Samurai swords to mecha might. Every episode ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. Samurai swords to mecha might. Every episode ignite the night. Power up, get ready to go. Feel the hype, it's about to flow. Anime unlock, turn it up. Energy blast, fill your cup. Old school, new school, never stop. It's a vibe, it's a drop, it's a pop, pop, pop. From the ninjas in the hidden mist to the stars where the myths exist. Villains rise, heroes fight. We're breaking it down every night. Anime dreams in neon glow. Unfold the tales you need to know. From action-packed to heartfelt scenes, we're unlocking all your dreams. Anime dreams in neon glow. Unfold the tales you need to know. From action-packed to heartfelt scenes, we're unlocking all your dreams. Anime dreams in neon glow. Unfold the tales you need to know. From action-packed to heartfelt scenes, we're unlocking all your dreams.
ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, beginning of a new month, and there's another episode of Anime Unlocked with the collaboration of the Sparta HQ Network and CBN Tech Talk. How you guys doing? I hope you are coming in. This is a very interesting topic. I took away with my co-host to come in. Maybe he get his notes together and everything ready. I hope he's not running too late. Until then, while everybody coming in piece by piece, how's everybody doing? Hello, Eric. How you doing? Mariana, how you doing too as well? So before we get into the topic, I want to speak on why we are doing this particular subject. I've been a fan of anime since 1992, 93, and I have watched and seen the growth of what anime has become, aka Japanese anime. Before I was an anime fan, I was a comic book fan. I will tell you that right now. So I want you to understand where my stance is at. I just want to give you a little intro about me and why I love what I do. This is a passion of mine because one, I'm a fan of creative art in a unique way, whereby something is consistent. I was a comic book fan. I was into Superman, The Incredible Hulk is my favorite character, Spider-Man, Batman. I wasn't a fan of Captain America until the Shady Acme of Captain America. The first Captain America was based on David Hasselhoff. I might be wrong because I remember growing up, they would make him look more like David Hasselhoff, and he did a live action version of Nick Fury, not Captain America. Let me correct that. Nick Fury. Let me get that correct. It was Nick Fury. I apologize. It was Captain America. Nick Fury was based on Hasselhoff imagery. And he did a live action movie based way back, and they changed it and make it along with Samuel L. Jackson. Captain America was done by somebody else more recently. There was a live action movie about it before that. Let me correct that part. I would think on the facts. My thing when it comes to comic books, I've been a fan of it. What I did hate about it was just when they had one particular idea how their particular character going to be. So down the line, it doesn't stay consistent. There's a reboot, they get changed, and it kind of like got me thinking, like, why? They're fine. 91, 92, 93, the boom of Japanese animation. Now, when Japanese animation came to existence, now everybody know the most iconic one, Dragon Ball Z, right? The theme song that it came out with, Dragon Ball. Yeah, that was the theme song I created for the North American audience. Until years later, I got hold of the original Dragon Ball Z, which is original language, which is Japanese. And hear the language and the audio, and they had a subtitle. Then I realized there was a big difference, right? Then fast forward a little further, turn to find out there was a manga. Or that's the term for Japanese comic books. I looked over the web, see where we can find it, which store you gotta go to, where you gotta go and pick it up, yada yada yada. Okay, fine. It got to a degree. I thought to see where this huge influx of anime was coming from. Yep, he identified Captain America for the legend of Jack Kirby. This Eric right here, that is EJN 2012. Eric is our in-house historian when it comes to comic books and anime. I don't think there's anybody else that can beat him unless you think you got the juice. If you got the juice, bring it in. We like all that dirt. Because this the guy when we sometimes we may slip off and we forget a little something. He always find a way to throw a little monkey and let us. Oh, don't forget about this one right here. Don't forget about that one right here. So this is our in-house historian, Eric. Now, I know Eric did this back in the 80s and 90s. There used to be so many comic book store or there was an outlet where you can purchase comic book store within New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Mostly in New York City, you can find in downtown Brooklyn or find it from regular local corner store, right? They will have a section whereby you have the lame Cosmopolitan magazine or the female magazine. Ah. Then you have some business magazine. They have one small sector of comic books. Now, if you were here back in the 80s, early 90s, you were able to buy a comic book from a corner store back then. Not every corner store have it, but it was a thing back then. Then, if you want to go to a legit comic book store, you have to either travel a good distance. Mm. Okay, we have Peter Leviti, aka the Sparta. He wants to throw another monkey red and say, David, I don't know much about that, but we do have our friend CQ on pop culture where we know everything from comic books and movies. CQ is the another historian of comic book because he was Dave's name is a pop culture warrior. If you go to his channel, when you come to pop culture, don't mess with that dude. Now here's my co-host, Wally.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What happened now?
I said, here's my co-host, Wally. I was about to say something. I just didn't stop myself. I'm not doing the sound effect of the Wally thing because I hate the group. My nickname is Beer Paul. Anyway, so CQ, aka Pop Culture Warrior, is a huge comic book fan, movie fanatics. He's a big, another historian, but I wish he's here on the show. So in case I want to throw some juice on dirt to the come to a debate concerning manga book versus comic book versus manga, how you want to look at it. Little than later, it started to get a little harder to find comic book in corner store than yes, I go to comic books. There wasn't so many in Brooklyn, if I remember correctly. I think sometimes you had to take the Q or the B train line going toward the corner. You had some area to buy comic books. That area, there was none the 4 or 5 train line. Um, Flatbush, no. Downtown Brooklyn, yes, so to speak. You can find that there at that time without aware of. Manhattan is most at the time it wasn't near Lower Manhattan. It wasn't right near the World Trade Center area or near the ferry. It'd be further around 14th Street to 1 degree. Then you had to go further close to Times Square, where if I remember in the present time right now, there's about maybe two street spot near Times Square where you can find comic books. But you could be
Hello,
a
Eric.
lot more. There could be a lot more space back then, but it kind of like reduced to a degree. So that was New York City that I'm aware of. Queens, there not wasn't too many places you can buy comic books. I might be wrong. The Bronx wasn't that too easy. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure about New Jersey or Connecticut, how people get their comic book. Sometimes you go to a comic book convention, and I know at Comic Con now, you can buy a whole bunch of comic books back there. But when it comes to the manga thing, the manga stock coming in, I think it first came through Bond or Noble first. On the East Coast out of there. I'm not sure about down south, like Wally side, Florida. Like what was when did the time bring in manga books? Was it through Barnes and Noble or through the libraries? Hmm? Wally?
What happened now?
During that time when you start getting into mangas or come out, like when they brought manga book to your area, did they come to Barnes and Noble or it came to the library?
So, from my understanding, when I ever first glanced at a book where I ended up finding out that was a manga, I actually found it in my school's library.
Hmm.
And remind you, middle school library.
You're lying.
No, I'm serious. Literally, there was a subsection
Uh,
literally in the corner. If you didn't go that way, it was literally a subsection where anime mangas were literally in the corner.
that's crazy. Because at first, I never hear any school in my area in New York City that they had it in the school library. First, it came in Barnes and Noble. I first recognized that. And slowly but later, it started to show up in the Brooklyn public libraries. But not every library has it. There's a particular one they may have it and some don't have it. So I was like, okay, okay. But in the school library, that's the first.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else. That's the first to me to hear that the school decided, okay, let's put some manga books in the library.
I don't see why they wouldn't, unless there were certain sketches that were not permitted there.
Mm.
But other than that, I don't see why they wouldn't, right? Technically, what is the school purpose? To get you to read more, regardless what the context is?
Bingo. Bingo. I think that would be the push. But the thing is about the mangas, everybody know when you read a book or a comic book, let's be real. When you read a comic book, you read it from right to left, right? Correct?
A
Am I
comic
wrong,
book?
Wally? When you read a book or a comic, you read it from right to your left, right?
Don't you mean left to right on a comic book?
I'm right-handed.
Manga.
We open a book. Hold on.
You literally said right to left. That's a manga. Even if you're using your right
Bring me a
hand.
book. Bring me a book. Bring me a book, Elijah, please. Yeah. Okay, we got a book here. When you open it, right? You open a book, right? This is the book right in front of me.
Okay.
I'm right-handed.
Okay.
You read it from right to left, like when you turn a page, right? Mangas have you reading from left to right. That's the
Again,
first
the
thing I
other way
noticed.
around. The other way around. Again, I don't know if you're hung on your right hand side. Again, when you open a book,
Yeah.
left to right. That's how you start it off from an everyday book in America. Manga is literally right to left as you're reading. You're getting the context wrong.
Am I? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh
please
my
let me
god.
know.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh, we read it.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm right-handed here.
Ladies and
Not my
gentlemen,
hand.
okay? This is a book. No book, right? Again, I don't care. Left hand, right hand. I don't care what the frick you use. You open the book. This starts from what side? The left hand side. You're reading
Okay.
the book left to right normally.
Okay. I'll give you the argument.
Like, what the fuck?
I'll give you the argument.
Like, literally, this is the right hand side because you're reading it from your right. Right? You're going this way. What are you trying to do? Confuse the people with nonsense? What is
Because
this?
I know you open the book, the first page is on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side. That's what I'm referring to. Let me leave
Right
Juan
to
alone.
left is manga.
Okay. I'll leave Juan alone. Cole. He had that look in his eye. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and see that. I was like, what the hell?
You know what?
No. But Eric is correct. Manga read in a reverse way than we read in the West.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Okay. I'm wrong. I
I
apologize.
swear, I swear, but I had to go buy me a manga
It's
to
left
make
to right.
sure I wasn't delusional.
It was left to right. Manga is right to left. I apologize. I was trying to be technical, but then again, Eric correct, Wally's correct. And I will admit it when I'm wrong. I hope they'll do the same.
I'm being technical. The technical is right to left for manga. You're being illiterate.
Oh no, you didn't. Oh no.
Yes. Yes, you're being very confusing right now. Like you're trying to literally like I swear, the amount of people, if anyone who is in manga, I just swear, the amount of side eyes that people would have did to you right then and there if you said that shit, to be like, you, sir, do not know anime like you think you do.
No, I know it's a reversal of the West. I'm always aware of that. Always aware of that. I will admit it. But I was looking at the way when you open a book, you look first look at it. I'm like, okay, you open it, boom. I'm right-handed, and I was thinking coming from, but then again, you're correct. I'll leave it like that. But the thing about it, the manga threw me off because we used to the Western way of reading out here in the U.S. or Canada or in the UK, whatever you are watching this broadcast, you read the same like whatever I was reading. But when you read Japanese manga books, it will throw you off completely. You were like, hold up. Ain't that gonna be this way or that way? But no, Eric, I'm not putting no group hats. No, thank you. I put on my beer paw hat, not good. Okay, I'm big-handed. I don't have hand that look like a twig. This hand is not skinny. I remember one time I broke a glass just by accident, just squeezing it. I don't know how I did that. That scared the hell out of me. But that's another story for another time. Other than that, hearing that they had manga books in middle school, that is a big deal. I never hear my kids say they saw a manga book in their school lobby till now. I mean high school. But they had it back then in Florida, that's a big deal. Yes, the main purpose for having school life for kids to read more often. That as time progressed, you start to find comic book transition from physical comic book to digital comic book. Marvel doing a promotion, if I remember correctly, they had it on an app you could download on your phone. You could read your favorite comic book on your phone. Manga, on the other hand, it's done on one website. Now they have it on apps. But seeing the progression of both manga and comic books, there have been a bunch of argument in high school. I remember we argued about certain characteristic change in Spider-Man we did not like. We didn't like the fact how no, let me rephrase that. There was a division between the change of Nick Fury, which was we black folk loved it. Other people were not having it because like why they change Nick Fury from David Hasselhoff to Samuel L. Jackson? Samuel L. Jackson's present time, Hasselhoff with a Knight Rider time. When they changed the characteristic of Iron Man from the original Iron Man was how he used to be because he never exposed his identity to the present format of Iron Man, aka you know who I'm referring to. They changed the characteristic of that. I was thinking, why would Iron Man expose his identity? When you read the original comic book of Iron Man, no one know Tony Stark was Iron Man. You're never gonna know. You're not supposed to know. When they did in the movie, then all of a sudden they changed it. So there's a history of my understanding of comic book and manga while they had it on. But right now we'll get into the main topic. Comic book versus manga. What are the similarities and what are the differences? Take it away, Wally. You all right, Wally?
Say later, slide script. Go ahead.
So this one is something I think we will talk about heavy on for years to
Hold on,
come.
let me get on here real quick. Right. So yeah, first one. Right. So this is the similarities. Right. Storytelling medium. Both are visual storytelling mediums. They use panels, page layouts, and character arts to convey plot, character development, and emotions.
That might be a similarity. I will agree on that one. the format may be similar, I will agree on that. Now, we all know this. Comic book is fully graphic, fully color, never black and white. Yet we get it, we understand. Manga is what it is. But that similarity is normal. No argument, no debate about it. What about you, Wallace?
I have no debates. The debates is on the next page.
Okay, go into that.
All right. So there's the differences. Of course, beyond. Let me make sure I can see this. So storytelling and narrative structure. Hold on a moment.
I'll read it.
Oh, go
Comic
ahead.
book, comic books, American superhero comic, especially from the big two, which is now Marvel and DC. Now, before there was Marvel and DC, there was other brands at the time that were coming up, but you all know this. It comes from funding, marketing, and popularity. Most of the other brands fade away. Marvel and DC often have a non-linear, ever-evolving narrative with different writers, keyword, different writers and artists taking over a character's run over time. The character are rarely allowed to age or permanently change, and they are seen as intellectual property that must be preserved for future generations. That is one.
Which is sort of. I'm gonna talk about that on that end later.
You go in. I'll go in either way. Manga, on the other hand, manga series generally follow a singer on his storyline with a definite beginning and the end. The story is often overseen by one creator, a mangaka, or a small team, allowing for a consistent vision and significant character growth over time. The length of a manga series can vary drastically from with some running for decades, which we see that a lot. Some manga last for maybe 2 or 3 years. No, am I correct, Wally?
What happened?
Some
Some
manga series
last
last for like 2 or
years.
3 years, depending on the writer. The longest one that we know that go almost for multiple decades. Those are the ones, how you say, the most popular, heavy, high selling mangas that have a fan base that talk about money wise. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think having one creator or one small team that stay with a particular vision is essential compared to comic book. I'm not gonna lie. I've been in a lot of debate in high school and middle school based on certain characters of the comic book. Have you, Wally?
Yeah.
And the debate we have is concerning Spider-Man. They were changing Spider-Man. Well, I would say you also find significantly more speed line in manga to depict dynamic motion. Yeah, that is true. But my issue with this, when you have different versions of the same character you love, it gets you total, like Spider-Man. Spider-Man have gone through a lot of reboots. Well, from the 80 version of Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's not the same as the one in the 90s. Then the 2000s. It's like, based on that comic book, it also affects the so-called cartoon. But why they don't call it cartoon? Because you have already done a name for that. It's coming from a comic book source.
I mean, I just call it what it's supposed to be called, comic animation. Let's just call it that, comic animation.
And by who follows Spider-Man, you know there's many different versions of Spider-Man out there. They're never the same. And not remain the same. Iron Man, the old Iron Man comic animation, compared to the new one right now, is different. They even a teenage version of Iron Man. A lot of people don't, I don't sure they remember that, but it's out there. Wonder Woman, are they changing that much often? Not as much as they did Batman, animated series, different version of Batman, revamp. Like it constantly changes and it never stay consistent. I think there's a reason why some people would like the consistency of manga that starts slowly drifting from comic book to manga. I think that started around the 2000s, maybe late night. I'm not sure. What do you think, Wally?
Well, first and foremost, when it comes to this is my only real gripes with comics is because, well, so on the last paragraph, on the last sentence, right? It says the characters are rarely allowed to age or permanently change as they are seen as intellectual properties that must be preserved for future generations. But that's the problem. How are you going to tell me the reason why they can't age or change is because they need to be preserved when you're making a new, fresh issue on the same freaking character every fucking time? Like, that's dumb.
Number one, Nick Fury. I mentioned that, didn't I? The old Nick Fury was based on David Hasselhoff, aka Knight Rider, aka Bane.
Well, no, that's just different. That's like you having two different Nick Furies. But my main thing to it is saying that these people are supposed to be quote unquote immortalized is a big problem because you're always gonna have a new freaking issue on these things. Issue 1 is not the same as issue 2.
You got some examples?
Well, let me rephrase that. Volume 1 is not the same as volume 2. It just never is.
What, Peter? What the hell is this?
Oh, it's actor. I have an actor.
Peter,
Actor.
when we come on your show at that train monkey wrench, don't get mad. That's not making it. But why did you have?
No. Well, I know I know what he's trying to say, but again, rarely. I mean, again, Batman was one of the few rares. I mean, again, I'm not saying that they don't age at all, but again, characters are rarely aged. How much times have we seen Batman ultimately age? Like truly, ultimately age. Batman Beyond was probably the best one because that was the best time he actually aged.
Yes, you're totally correct.
Okay, he's trying to say he's actually right. Yeah.
Spider-Man had this one right here. I think Eric may have a one on this one.
Spider-Man has been critically
bastardized on Japanese TV, and Paul loved to tease you about it. That's another topic. I'm not sure. I gotta look for that.
I don't know about that. But my main thing to it is that's my thing with it is so weird. Is like, okay, look, Universe 1 or Earth 1, as they would always say it, is always like there's always going to be a time when you have to age. Like, don't tell me these people don't age like they're immortalized. If that's the case, then shit me. There is no thing as a human. There's just none. And if that's the case, then Batman's just whooping everyone's ass.
No, that is a good
I'm just saying that
because when they did the Batman Beyond and they have Bruce Wayne old but grumpy, I was like, they finally given an opportunity to have him age and have someone take over the mantle, then that storyline, I think going deep, trying to find out they're saying the new Batman Beyond is a clone. That was the narrative, right?
Yeah. They so Waller said that, surprisingly enough, they're able to get his blood. They got Bruce Wayne's blood sample, and when they had the blood sample, they cloned him. Where eventually they put him into the mother that raised him, and then voila, and then that's the newest Wayne, without knowing he's Wayne.
Now this one is another example. I got confused. Green Arrow, the show they had on TV, they call it Arrow. They didn't call it what it's actually Green Arrow, but they call it Arrow. Right? What's the difference between Green Arrow and Arrow? That is my issue because they did the same thing with Iron Man. Everybody know the comic animation of Iron Man when it first came out, right? And Iron Man never put his identity out there. From the old version of Iron Man. for the animated version of it until Robert Downey Jr. took the character, did the first movie, and toward to the end of the movie, he come out, I'm Iron Man. When I saw that movie, I was flabbergasted. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was not in the comic books.
Hey, that's what you call new age comics. And by new age comics, I mean that's what you call new age movie telling.
So in other words, it's like saying they're gonna rewrite the whole thing that you knew about Iron Man. Let's say we're throwing that old version out, along with the bathwater.
I mean, look, those parts are pick and choose as far as how they go. I mean, because you got to really think about it, right? And I want to be very discreet. When you think about Marvel and when they were quote unquote exposing their character image, notice one thing: Captain America had no one he needed to protect that he didn't have already protected anyways. So one, he can easily show himself. It didn't really matter.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you got to think about it. Like most characters that actually show their faces or you knew who they are, their identity, because they didn't really have no one to protect at all. Or it's like, you know, if we come for his family, that would be a bad move. So it's like, think about it. Two, you got to think about it. There's other characters that stay to the mantle. Spider-Man always stayed to the mantle because if anyone knew who Spider-Man was, that was game over. He had outmade to protect. He couldn't let his identity be found. That would be crazy. From his job, because at the end of the day, his job's always asking, how does he keeps getting good picks and we don't?
And Daredevil, another one too. That keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
That one, keep it in secret. Batman was more critical. No one not supposed to know who Batman is.
You wasn't, even though it sort of made sense that you probably would. Because at night, you never see Bruce Wayne other than small situations. And in the day, you probably see Bruce Wayne way more. It's just like whatever. But I mean, nonetheless, right? It's like with this, that's just my real gripe with that as far as when it comes to comic books. Like the idea of saying rarely is stupid because you always eventually got to age. You can't just be immortalized. You just can't. But flip side onto manga, but my only one gripe about manga is, and this has been a telling time because every time you hear this story about manga creators, aka the writers, is you doing it on your damn self. Stop sitting here doing it on your own, and then yet you go up and die, God forbid, and then you pass away, and you leave a great project to sit there and collect dust.
And I'm glad you talked about it because remember we all talk about we want to get that chance to interview that one particular guy who came out from New Jersey, went to Japan to study how to create anime, and he went under the iconic mentor, right? And he realized there was a culture they had over there, which was ridiculous. Everybody who into manga writing trying to get under certain big company, but they have to create their own products, right? And they have a just like Akira Toriyama who passed away, he had an editor. If the editor don't like your content, he will turn you back. Work on it.
Well, no, he wasn't the editor. He was a drawer.
No. I'm talking about Akira Toriyama editor, his first editor he had.
The first editor?
Okay,
there must be someone different that I'm talking about.
He's still alive. Because he came back and criticized Dragon Ball D Diamond. Talk about what.
Okay, no, yeah, that dude, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, he's the drawer he's the helping drawer.
No, he was the editor. He was the one who was first Akira Toriyama's first editor. But whenever he did something,
okay. I don't know his role per se, but I know that's.
Kobe had on Facebook. He had content shared on his feed, whereby his editor was not liking Dragon Ball Diamond. He called that was trash. I was like,
oh no, yeah, which we will talk about on a different show overall.
With the truth, but he was saying that, and I looked into it and I found out it is a big. There's a lot of people who go to school, who want to go into art, want to be a famous writer, but the workload or the level of consistency you have to get into before you can get your stuff produced or published, it is harsh. If you're gonna be a manga writer, it got to make sense. If the plot twist is not worth it, if the drawing is not done properly well, if the characteristic, and it's very critical. You're doing everything yourself. You write the storyline, you create the plot, you do the drawing. Or like in the comic book, it's not everything you do by you have a team that help you put it out. Am I correct? So imagine the type of work people do. There's some anime that I saw they were describing people's life of being a manga writer or be a book writer, how stressful that is. And I start to understand. I was like, wait. So they put that much punch. They give you 2 months to produce 45 page. You're not ready. They coming after you for the loan. If it didn't like your stuff, I'm like, damn. And it's a term called writer block, whereby when you get to a brain fog moment, you don't know how to go to the next column, and you're trying to figure out some ideas. It drive you crazy. But let it be real. They put Akira Toriyama, for example. All his characters are based on vegetables and fruit.
As far as names go, yeah.
Kakarot. Where do you think you get the idea from? Come on. Come on, Wally. They're going down this route. Because this is one thing about manga. When you don't have a source of inspiration, you gotta figure out something. Like say you trying to name a character. Look at Akira Toriyama. Get how he got away with it. At
I
first,
know.
we're talking about a Kuna until we start to catch up on it years later. Kakarot is based on what?
A vegetable.
Carrot. Vegeta.
Which is funny because he wears what? An orange gi. It's fucking hilarious. He wears an orange gi.
Yo, imagine you love this manga. You love the app. You were so into it until you start to realize, no, he didn't. He put one over everybody in. Kakarot was based off a carrot, and he have orange geese. And if you didn't catch on to it, you missed it.
I think what? Radish was like a radish. I forgot what Napa's vegetable name is. I know Broly's for broccoli. That's what explained the green aura.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Piccolo. Pickles.
Oh,
Really?
he's pickles? Okay.
Piccolo. Think about it.
Oh no, because the way how like his green stuff, I thought that was cucumber, but hey, either which way.
Yo, I'm telling you when I say this, when we start to catch on all the Catholic and Dragon Ball, who they were named after, a lot of us was like, this man got away with Highway Route. He created character based on vegetables and fruit, and we didn't catch on to it afterward years later.
I mean, not just vegetables. Think about it. Curran was his cat. Like that's the inspiration for that character. His own cat. Like you see, if you ever see Akira Takayama's own cat, and then you look at Curran, you'd be like,
he immortalized his cat. In other words, if he had it in his will, his cat got royalty if he passed away before the cat.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yo. That was what struck me like, okay, you're the only anime I know that did that. So after that, I started to investigate every other anime. Where anime inspiration come from? Like, where they got their character name from? Like I was pissed in a very unique, funny way because when you find out the character you love is based on fruit and vegetable, and you a kid who don't like vegetables, Wally.
What?
Imagine that. A person who don't like vegetables, like a character based on vegetables. How ironic can that sound? It kind of make you feel stupid, right? That you never catch on.
I mean, how most people would catch on? They have to look up the definition of the word.
That's the thing. It's hard. Boomer, every character that been created in Dragon Ball franchise, I will be shocked if it's based on fruit, vegetable, animal, or some stuff. It was just very funny. Well, that's the thing. Now look at Eric's put out there. Now Eric is funny. Captain America have a rubber-like sidekick for a while, Bucky Barnes.
We all
So
know that.
it's safe to say,
But he wasn't no damn Robin.
mm, mm, you got a bug me on that one. Coffee and chocolate were great medicine for writer blocks. You sure?
Yeah, you can look that up.
In comic book writer or manga writer?
Well, it don't really matter. I mean, it's writer's block.
What I heard is either a unique type of cigarette they were smoking in Japan or certain kind of food, or that'll be fought. Most manga writers I know that don't do their art in the city. They stay far away from the city because it's such
Yeah,
a
because the city is literally loud and noisy. So you go somewhere that's fucking quiet. Yeah, you're damn right.
the countryside.
Pretty much.
But a lot of writers here in the U.S. don't have that privilege to do that, do they?
I mean, hey, that's the price of trying to get a studio, right? But then again, at
Mm-hmm.
that point, that's what's called noise cancellation windows.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But the thing is, manga writer, I think they have far more pressure than comic book writer. Comic book writer, you have a team that come together and get the ideas. Manga writers, you want your thing to go through. You want the thing to be successful. Because when we heard about Akira Toriyama, his product was successful to the point where he didn't feel like doing it no more. We found out his product was way too successful, making so much money for the country. Let's go to the next slide because we can stay on this one and start beating on a lot of differences. Similarity, both are often serialized in magazine, yes, and astrology before being collected into a trade, paperback, or volume. That is true. Very, very true. Remember we mentioned earlier that you did have Marvel, DC, and there was other brands. Hold on, let me ask my assistant. If you remember all the other brands that used to be back then.
yeah, there's other franchise, but they bought them all. I think.
Yeah.
So what other franchise was there? I know DC bought the franchise that had Static Shock and some other ones. I think Marvel bought the one that had Spawn's comic. I think that's Dark Comic, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else.
Let's see what more. Because I remember there were a few that it had a unique following. I think Dark Horse was it?
Oh right, okay, that's why I said Dark. I thought it was Dark Comics, but yeah, Dark Horse was one of them.
Image comic. It was Dark Horse comic. Yes, I was right.
Yeah.
Dark Horse comic. They created Hellboy, BPRD. I think that's part of Hellboy.
And it's funny because Hellboy was actually a successful movie.
It was.
At least I liked it. I don't know how everyone else feels, but
It also created the masks, Sin City, and 300. Now
wait, they created Sin City,
yes,
and they didn't keep going.
See,
I see. You can't make this up. Oh my gosh. Okay.
yeah, you have every right to lose it.
Oh,
You have every right to lose it.
You made Sin City, you make Hellboy, and you over here just sitting on the side.
Hellboy movie was successful. Sin City was successful, and they did the 300. It was successful content, but why can they go further? But they were famous for darker, and edgier storylines. It was like the grown folk comic book. There's another one actually. You remember this one? Image comic, founded in 1992 by a former Marvel artist called Tom McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, and etc. But guess what? The more popular franchise, Spawn,
Right. Okay. So that's why I thought. Yeah, it's fine.
Savage Dragon.
Don't really remember.
Witchblade, and here is one, The Invincible. Yeah,
Invincible.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's funny how that thing did not last long. They Image Comic, where are they right now?
I believe
Where's
someone
Dark?
bought it because I'm not thinking.
Where's Dark Horse? And here's the joke: for a Dark Horse comic, they also publish licensing comics like Alien, Predator, Star Wars before Marvel got the right again. Imagine that. Another publishing company, Ballet Comic, Ballet Entertainment. They're notable for the Extra Man of War, Bloodshot, Harbinger, and Ninjak. And there's a YouTuber who always go on and talk about different Ballet comics, and he did like a narration. Got his thing. Shout out to him. Here's another one that I don't think everybody remember them. IDW Publishing. I think Eric and Paul Bennett know this publishing. You know why I say that? Their major comic book they created was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Wait. No, I was right
IDW Publishing.
there. IBW.
No, ID. As in I
IDW.
Doctor W IDW Publishing. They
So,
created
okay.
Teenage Mutant
Okay.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay. So there's a studio that created them, and so technically, Teenage Ninja
No,
Turtles.
they created the comic books. No, they're known for adapting franchise into comic. They created the comic book
Okay.
for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay. Okay. See, because now that I know that, I need some answers. Because I ain't gonna lie. Again, I'm still pissed off about that damn Ninja Turtle damn TV series. When you explain that Shredder is a freaking alien. Another day. I'm pissed about that TV series.
Thank you, Wally. Eric. Eric, know another one. I didn't catch this one. I'm not sure if I catch it yet. There's Gold Key Comics, public comic book story adapted from different television shows from the 60s. Gold Key Comics. Who bought them? Eric, let us know. Never knew there was a comic book publisher called Gold Key Comics. So, as I was saying, that's one. They published Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, right? Get the next one. Transformer. Can you believe that? The same publisher that created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle also created comic book for Transformers. Ain't that crazy? Now you're not gonna be the last two. The last two comic books they created is G.I. Joe and Star Trek. IDW Publishing created 4 big juggernaut comic books.
At least Star Trek makes sense because I can't sit here and say that falls off or whatever. You know? But even though it wasn't my favorite to watch either, because that was just Star Trek was just one of those sci-fi TV series I couldn't really watch. Like I watched it, but I couldn't really watch it.
But it was never made into a cartoon, was it?
Oh hell no!
But with a live action.
I think that's probably the best thing about it. It wasn't made into a cartoon. Because bitch, I would be asking so much questions.
Yeah, but here's the joke about it. They had a comic book, but was made live action.
That's a good thing. That's a fucking good thing.
But IDW Publishing made 4 juggernaut comic books: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformer, and G.I. Joe. This is coming from Paul Bennett and Eric Era. I remember we did a show about that, and we talked about it was a toys line before it got adapted to a comic books. That was IDW Publishing. The other one, we all know this one, Archie Comics. Anybody remember Archie Comic, the long-running teen franchise, aka Archie, aka Betty, aka Veronica, aka Jughead. I remember that in high school. If you were in middle school and high school back then in the 80s and 90s, you come across a comic book called Archie.
Okay, so see, Vertical. Okay, that's another one.
Now, will you believe I have a feeling I was right. They expanded into a darker tune like Afterlife with Archie. And you can believe this, Riverdale TV series. The Riverdale TV series that you found on Netflix, but you should be on TW11, was actually based from the Archie comic.
Which
So you
one?
connected them. Archie comic, which you have Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead, it got expanded into darker tone like Afterlife with the Archie and the Riverdale TV series. Everybody know about Riverdale? We got Netflix.
Okay, Riverdale.
And it used to be on CW TV. Remember the Riverdale TV series? And when I was watching it behind it, when I was watching my kid watching it, and I said, hold up, it had this Archie feeling. The whole thing sort of felt like it was Archie, or not realize it was actually that. They also had a thing called the Shield and the Mighty Crusader. Now there's some international comic books, which is not called a comic, but it's now referring to different regions, like Shuichi Shonen Jump, which is manga, Kodansha Japanese, Franco Belgian comic, Europe, and there's a list. That's just it. But the fact that it went down to Marvel and DC, the only brand that survived, I found it interesting.
Because some of them bought them. That's why.
True. Now, the European one called Franco Belgium Comics, the comic that you're not gonna believe this, they created Teen Teen. Remember Teen Teen?
Okay, you must have lost me with that one.
Teen Teen. They had a comic book and came into an animated series. Asterisk. Everybody remember Asterisk about this one little Viking-like village. They were drinking super potion. One guy fell into the potion. They can know a lot of things, and they beat up Europe. Boom. Asterisk. They created the Smurf. Yeah. Franco-Belgian comic is responsible for the Smurf. That's the thing about it. And Lucky Luke. What I find very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. So it was a European that created the Smurf, Asterix, and Tintin. Tintin was a popular book. I remember reading a lot of times. It used to be a graphic novel, wasn't a comic book. Asterix also came in a graphic novel. Now, Eric, I trust Eric. He knows his stuff. There was also Casper, Wendy the Good Little Witch, and a baby devil called Hasta. Damn. And Richie Rich, which is Ali a favorite of Paul. I'm telling you, there are stuff that we didn't know back in the 80s or in the 70s, so to speak. But Goki? That's a very old. Let's go to the next slide. See, Eric knows this. He does. The Adventure of Tintin. So let's look at the difference. Comic books. Mainstream USA comics are typically published as individual, short, monthly, or bi-weekly floppy issue. I don't know what I mean by floppy.
Floppy means it because you gotta. You can
Oh yeah, thin. Oh yeah, floppy like a floppy disk.
Floppy.
I'm sorry. Everybody understand the floppy term? I was thinking something about I forgot the IT term of floppy disk. So now you have the floppy before you have the solid disk. The floppy disk would be very, very thin. So when I mean floppy issue, it's very, very thin like a floppy disk. Around 20 to 30 page. And the pages are thin and not thick. These are then collected into trade paperback or hardcover volume or a graphic novel or omnibus edition. And we talked about I love Adventure of Tintin was mostly into graphic novel. It would be like a hardcover book. Asterisk will want to be in a hardcover book. For you to go to Barnes and Noble, you'll find those particular brand in hardcover. Um, unless it's a special edition of Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, um, Batman. I'm talking about the big name for DC and Marvel. They will have them in hard book. If you go to Barnes and Noble before the pandemic, if you see the section in Barnes and Noble, they have the hardcover thick books. It's mostly for a particular series of issue they put together. Am I correct, Wally?
Yeah, for certain of them, give or take.
Yeah, mostly hardcover. Now, manga is commonly serialized in large, thick, weekly. I don't understand how they do it. Thick. It's not thin, thick. Weekly or monthly magazine, like Weekly Shonen Jump. That's a lot of reading. Or weekly. If you ask me, if you buy a manga book for your kid, you kick them off the laptop.
I mean, you also got to think too the way how they have it presented. It's not like there's just words; it's the action in the words. So it's like,
Yeah, bit of
yeah,
truth.
you're also looking at more so it's more the image than it is the words itself.
The anthologies contain multiple series, with each series getting a single chapter. Once a series has enough chapter, it compiled into a tankobon volume, which is a paperback book, usually around 200 page. Now, here's the thing though. Right now we're in 2025. I'm sure everybody from the age of 14 to our age know about these manga books. Know about there are multiple volumes. Some volume more than the other. Now, the only volume I will not ask you to collect, take it from me, take my word on this. Please do not try to collect the whole entire volume on one piece. You're wasting your goddamn time. Don't. But if you want to get the manga book of One Piece, you know what to donate a whole entire wall in your bedroom only for one people. The amount of value you will get to read because looking at the anime right now, there's no way you could get any other manga besides One Piece that will complete the whole entire wall. Now, there's other series out there that come either 30, 40, 50, 80, but it's a lot. I remember one time I went to Barnes& Noble downtown Brooklyn on Coast Street, and man, they had like one, two, three, four rows of mangas, right? And some of these manga, they already got anime out, and some of these mangas, the anime coming out soon. So me to get the heads up, I had to go over there. I'll read them. It was a big deal. Then lately, when I started going there more and more often, that section was filled with people. Literally. If you go there in the early day, between they to open around 8, 9, between 10 to 12, the older folks will be there reading. They'll be sitting on the ground, crossing their legs, onto each, or if they love it, they'll buy them. Somebody told me, there's some folks that come and buy them, because they know they can't order as many because when they order them, it takes time to reach. They order them from Japan. That's why. Not like you order out here in the US. Now, if they try to buy them off the shelf, then to refill the shelf, they had to buy like maybe 4 or 5 copies each. with a lot of volume. So you can imagine they're hoping the one would come in with a big buck of just. That's a lot. That's a big deal. I would say I miss the good old day when comics were printed on newspaper grade paper. Price went through the roof when they changed to the high grade. Yes, I remember that. The other time in the '80s, the comic book would have the newspaper grade paper was still like the same newspaper, but when it got more color, you the high grade glossy paper that's similar to magazine paper. What about you, Wally? You remember those days?
As far as the comics being in newspapers,
From the newspaper property to the high grade glossy paper.
I mean, I wasn't a newspaper person.
Yeah, but when you buy a
Anytime,
comic book,
huh?
when you buy a comic book, when they had that quality of the no, when you buy a comic book, you could tell by the quality of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I pretty much when I touched comic books for the first time, it was pretty much the glossy ones.
Okay, that's the you was more on the glossy. I remember touching a few four
I
discs of
mean, yeah, because I think what the store like if I go to a Walmart would have more of the paper like newspaper prints. I think a little bit more. They have that type of grade a little bit.
Walmart was selling comic book back then. I didn't know that.
No. Even right now, because I've seen two different prayers. Like the one, okay, so the library that I go to, the comic books that I've seen and touched are not equally compared to the ones that are in the store of Walmart when they sell the comic books. Those are two different filiosos.
Makes
So
sense.
Walmart sort of sells more of the paper style, and then there's like a high grade of the high and glossy.
I get you on that. Give me a second. Why am I calling my phone?
But just throw this out there, right? Because I know David mentioned this before about trying to buy the whole one or trying to buy a close range of One Piece. So if you try to buy One Piece from volume 1 all the way to 23, the whole set is almost close to $200, people. And that's Amazon, just for you to clarify.
And that's what I said. Do not try. Okay. I'm going to ask my assistant. How many volumes?
Now, understand, each set has a different price tag, but I'm just saying from 1 through 23, it's so far as I've seen, it's the most one. Like set 2, 3, 4, 3s are actually pretty decent about in value, but yeah, the rest. But number one, that's a tough one. It's a little tough to get the numbers, but hey,
Okay, so I asked my assistant, how many volumes of One Piece manga are there? And this is why I say don't buy it. Say as of March 4th, 2025, there's about 111 tankobon. That is ridiculous. 111 that is published in Japan. That'll be Japanese, but in English, there's about 106 tankobon volume published by Via Media at the mid 2024. So I don't know about you guys, but to buy 106 of the 200-page volume, sorry, they be updated correctly. As of recently, They also a volume 110 in English scheduled to be released for November 11, 2025. So by November 11 of this year, there will be about 110 volumes of Takobon.
So pretty much, you can just pretty much say it'll be in the nice $1,000 range. No, I'm not even saying that to be jokes. Like literally, almost every manga, like if you buy it solo, it's like around $10. So yeah, you can say about $1,000 plus.
And that's ridiculous. And here the creator is still going.
Well, that's
One of the longest running. Now that we have manga going heavy, manga had its own competition. You had the Mawa that coming from South Korea, and the one from the Chinese, I don't know what to call it, but they're now competing with the Japanese because they see there's a market. Japan have already established their dominance when it comes to publication distribution. But One Piece is just one of many that is out there. Imagine trying to get every single talk about or Dragon Ball. Then you want to get every single Takabon of Bleach. I mentioned these because these are the big three or big four. You got One Piece,
so
you got Dragon Ball, you got Naruto, and Bleach, right? The four emperors, wouldn't call them. And their volume is ridiculous.
well,
I remember when Bleach,
so just to put this in perspective, so if you were to get a whole complete box set of a Dragon Ball Z, right? Paperback, this is $148.55. So you could pretty much say like 150.
did include the whole Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to Dragon
Well,
Ball.
no, I didn't. Well, no, I said Dragon Ball Z. Now, Dragon Ball.
Oh, Dragon Ball
Okay,
Z.
now
Oh.
Dragon Ball. This one shows the Dragon Ball complete book set of paperback. This would be pretty much $100.
So that's about $300 for both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, right?
Pretty much. Now, if you
That's
get
easy.
the Dragon Ball Super Series, which is volume 1 to 23 manga set, which is 23 books, that is literally hitting on the nail of, I mean, adding taxes. Let's say a rough number of 240.
40. So you wouldn't buy the whole entire franchise. That's $500
Give or take.
at least. So you can buy the whole entire value of the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. There's no value for Dragon Ball GT, is there?
Probably not, but let me see.
But I saw a shout out to Black Boma. She had it on her feed on Instagram, where they were interviewing Toyotayo, and they had the editor, former editor of Akira Toriyama, talk about how he was doing his own design and drawing, and he submitted it to Akira Toriyama to get graded on. So I wanted that he make a manga trying to find out the truth. Akira Toriyama allowed Toyotaya, whatever. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, to create the franchise of GT. He greenlighted because he admitted on an interview, the more recent interview. And every now and then, either Akira Toriyama correct them or he doesn't correct them. So the editor said, "Can you tell me Akira Toriyama don't always correct?" He said, "Yeah, sometimes he does, sometimes he don't." But he said he gets scared when Akira Toriyama don't correct his work. He's not saying not sure, he just allowed nothing to slide. So, all you people out there who have issue, I did. Akira Toriyama allows the Dragon Ball GT to go because he greenlighted for Toyotawa.
I think everyone
So
knew
you know,
that. But just to give you some quick, yeah. So yes, there is GT. There is mangas for GT. Now, is there a collection? As far as I see, no. But they do have separate issues,
mm.
you know, of GT overall. Yeah.
So that's a GT right now, right? There's a huge series for One Piece, massive. There's a series for Dragon Ball, right?
Yep. I think they even got
Naruto.
the.
I believe that Naruto is a big deal. So many volumes. Let's see, how many volumes of Naruto are out there? No, Naruto volume. Okay, here's the thing. It ran from 1999 to 2014, the Weekly Shonen Jump. There's 72 Takoban in total. The spin-off, which is Naruto, the Seven Hokage, and the Spring Scarlet Spring, is one volume. In Boruto, the Next Generation, written by Yukio Kodachi, and later by Kishimoto, returned. About 20 volumes so far in Japan. So 72 for Naruto, with the side thread and continuation with the Boruto and the Scarlet Spring is 90 plus combined.
So
So if you want to collect the whole Naruto volume, that's 90 plus volume.
yeah, so pretty much you can say almost close to around again around 1,000. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Katsuhiro Otomo Akira is another essential manga. This is one of the iconic manga. But Akira was one of the biggest anime that broke in the early days.
All right, but let's move forward because we.
Let's go to the next one because I'm glad we're getting on
So
some of
those
the
are the
big
main
names. Talk
two.
about the big names.
Those were the first main two were pretty much the similarities and difference. Now these are going to be also the same thing, but these are going to be like, well, this is where it gets to the nitty gritty because this is where we're also going to swing on the
Ooh.
differences. So there's like two more similars, and you know, the rest are just differences. So
So while certain genres are more prevalent in one than the other, both meaning cover a vast range of genres. Food action, yes. Fantasy, correct. Sci-fi, yes. Horror, yes. Romance, slice of life, niche.
right. So those are that. Let's go on.
Let's go to the next slide. Now, here's the difference. Comic books. The term comic book generally refers to comic produced in the Western world, particularly in the United States. The word manga is a Japanese term for comic and cartooning. In English, it is used specifically to refer to comic originated from Japan. So it is a comic book or cartooning book, but to separate the two, you have to call it manga. But I think it's more to that that's calling it manga alone because for one, the level of continuation, which you said it earlier, the character do age over time.
Well, yeah, I
It
mean,
just broke.
there's multiple differences of why you would say like a manga is not as the same as a comic, even though in word context that's where it originate from. But of course, it goes to the
Mhm.
cultural backgrounds. It goes to a lot of other factor features. You could say that'll make the differences.
Yes, but let's throw this one. You take culture back. That's totally correct. Not every manga is based on Japanese culture
Oh no,
alone.
no.
They expand. They
Well, yeah,
expand on that. They have comic books that are based on Japanese, comic that are based on Greek, comic that are based on German history, comic that are based on North mythologies. They are comic books based on African mythology. They they branching out.
right.
But what they normally do is try and be close to the facts as much as possible. I get them fact for that one. They don't just create up, but they do create I call it isekai. That's the term, isekai. That'd be a whole different genre, but in most fashion, they stick to the detail. Some comic book based on history. Let's be real. The manga I like it called Kingdom, but they had the anime for it, and they based on the Chinese history. Very unique, very unique. But it's not being promoted like all the other big names like Solo Leveling, One Piece. I'm surprised that what I like is not getting the marketing like it should. But they had some live action. I was thinking about 4 live action movies that's on Netflix. Look it up. It's a Japanese live action movie called Kingdom. If you watch it, look for the Japanese anime version of it. You can see what I'm talking about. It's a real deal. What's your piece on this, Wally?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a moment because I just had a new show topic in my head that just popped in.
Oh, so why he had a new show topic? Because every time we get into these type of discussion debate, either my brain popping into it
There it
or
is.
his brain popping in trying to get something. I'm glad he said it. Apple Seed by Masamune Shiro is another accentuated. Apple Seed is iconic. It's a very iconic manga that came to an anime. And I think, if I'm correct, it have a darker side to it. Let me be real here. I like a lot of dark anime. It make you feel like you want to go into that tent. And this is why we recommend Berserk is not for kids. Once again, I'll say it once again, as many time I can. If you're a grown folk who watch Berserk, make sure there's no kids around. Don't be near while they're trying to watch Berserk and the kid nearby. He will let you know, they gotta go. We don't want child service come and put us in jail because we traumatize somebody. Am I wrong, Wally?
Pretty much.
Please. That of any anime that's dark, Berserk is on the top of the food chains. You might have a show about the darkest anime to the weakest anime. Who knows? Eric again, he coming in. We also have comic magazines such as Vampiriella by Warren Publishing and Heavy Metal, which was a sci-fi fantasy anthology magazine for adults. No offense, Heavy Metal. Ooh, no offense, Eric. I'm glad you mentioned that one. Heavy Metal. When they did it in an animated form, I was like, what are you doing? This is the type of animated cartoon you gotta watch on HBO or Cinemax. That's serious. If you read a magazine on a comic book, you be like, I haven't seen Vampirella. I have not seen no. What is that character that had the? I'm not sure. Is that what she looked like? I'm not sure.
Right.
I remember Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal was like, we never seen in Barnes and Noble. If you do see in Barnes, it might be hidden by chance. I don't know.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
Go to the next one. Similarity, recurring character and series. Both have strong tradition of long-running series with recurring character. Reader can become deeply invested in the ongoing saga of their favorite hero and villain. This where we had the similarity, but also some dispute about that. Go to the next slide because there will be some dispute. Even when I say that.
What was the dispute? Because the next one's not going to talk about this one exactly.
Dispute, how would I put this? We'll talk about saga. Batman versus Joker, there are too many sagas throughout the timeline.
Are we
Batman
talking about
versus
the current
the Joker.
timeline, or are we talking about just any timeline?
It's like it's set to a particular timeline in cases, in a way. So, like for example, Batman and the Joker, they're like internal rivals to the point where we're in Batman Beyond, he's still there. The Riddler, the Penguin, is set to a certain time. After that, they're out. Superman and Lex Luger forever. No, what edition you put it on there forever?
Okay, so what's the problem with that?
No, I don't say they're done the problem. It's just it's almost like no matter what new edition or what we adapted or reboot, it has to stay. Well, our goal don't get as much love like the Joker did, but well, our goal had more
Yeah,
personal.
but this the thing though, right? Well, we have to say focus on this, right? And this is the thing. When you're talking about a character that challenged the ideal person of this, think of it like this, right? If you told me today, out of all of Superman's rogue galleries of people that he had to deal with every single time, the perfect flip copy of a rival is always going to be Lex Luthor. It don't matter who else you think of.
That is true.
It's all going to be Lex Luthor.
That
And
is
then,
true.
let's be real, Darkseid is bigger than Lex Luthor, but it's still going to be Lex Luthor.
That is true. But look at Batman. Between the Joker and Warlock Go, who will have more of an impact on him?
Are we serious here? Did I not just explain something?
I know about Superman. I understand that, but
I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone can sit here and say, yeah, Ra's al Ghul is always the most important person, at least to Batman, to the most case. Especially since he has a kid with his daughter, technically.
and technically, according to the movie, he got trained by Watch
Yes,
according to the movie.
yes. I mean, now, I say it like this. Okay, so with Batman, I say it like this. It's like a 50-50 with Joker and Ra's al Ghul. Because they both challenge his ethics in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Joker challenged Batman's ethics for his sanity, and Ra's al Ghul challenged his ethics for killing or non-killing.
Choose one side of the coin. Lose your mind, or start killing.
Which, funny enough, they meet right in the freaking middle because at the end of the damn day, it's like choose your poison because you either which way you're gonna be fucked. The Creeper was the badass character that was missing link between Batman and Joker. The Creeper.
Remember, Paul said there was a version of Batman that did do killing before they changed it.
I mean, the only Batman I remember that killed was his father. That's his version. That's one of the versions I know. I mean, I have to look and see, but other than that,
Because this is why I'm pointing this out now, because based on similarity, we know about Batman, we know about Superman. Go on every other character is almost as if it's missing. Spider-Man is always Doctor Octopus and the Goblin, like both two sides of the coin. Either he beefing with the Goblin, or he beefing with Doctor Octopus. Those were the very two. The Goblin. The Goblin was more close to home than else. And somewhere down the line, the creation of the Hobgoblin put a huge massive question mark. Who's the Goblin? You understand who is here, but that's the Osborn. The Hobgoblin? Who are those? So it's almost like a three-way fight. But when the Hobgoblin comes out, he fighting both the Goblin and Spider-Man.
okay. So the other option of Batman's, which really not really an option in Batman, as far as comics, is Owlman, which is not a Batman, but pretty much the flip version of Batman, which is Thomas Wayne Jr. when Bruce actually had a brother. But he was an evil son of a bitch.
Now,
Okay.
here's the thing: you said it when he had a brother. How often have you ever been aware that Bruce Wayne had a brother?
If you don't know, because you didn't read it, and that's just the obvious.
That's my point. There's too many different ways you to create an angle that just throw you off. Like, man, I watched the cartoon. I never know he had a brother. Know about the son part. Brother? Interesting.
Right. So the next one, which is Frank Miller's version, which is the Batman from the Dark Knight's Return. This one had the no down. Technically, he had the no kill rule, but there is some implies of cause of several deaths in this. One of them was the Joker refusing to save Joker, so he chose to snap his own neck. Which technically, you may as well say that he pretty much helped kill him in a sense, one way or another. But yeah. And then last but not least, Earth 51's Batman, the Graveyard Universe. In this storyline, countdown to the final crisis, an alternate Batman is mentioned who killed his Joker after the death of Jason Todd. Well, at least this version did it. Sorry, how to say it. And then systematically executed all of his major villains, making their deaths look like accidents. Oh, that's fucked up.
Why we and now, since you mentioned now, how come we don't see the anime version of that?
Just imagine how stupid it would be when you say accidentally. What do we mean by accidental?
And why are you never see an anime version of that version? Ask that question.
Hello, they're sold to kids. What's wrong with you?
That's a darker. You could put that on HBO or Cinemax.
They could, but guess what? How much of us would be able to watch it?
Like, you don't know going for would be good at anyway. Hello.
If that's the case, then if that's the case, are you willing to say the same thing about manga then?
Manga?
Yes. So think about it. Getting the original rich content. How much of us kids are gonna have that privilege? Oh hell no! You think parents are gonna out there pay for stars and HBO and all that?
It called website. That.
See, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
No, first of all, I'm not mentioning Crunch. I'm not mentioning Crunchyroll because that's Trigger Eric.
No, this is today's style. I'm talking about back then. Just imagine if we did that back then.
Oh yeah, back then. Back then was harder. Back then would be harder. More like it was on HBO on purpose. Remember, they had the anime version of Spawn, which was kind of dark. They put out on HBO too. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Okay then. So it would be on HBO. Unless
that was here and there. That was here and there.
Unless you from the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and you had the old cable box whereby shout out to the old days when you had the illegal cable box that you plug in and light to get certain channels. Well, I don't know if they have it in Florida, but they had it out here.
Yeah.
You from New York. Bennett know this. I'm sure Eric knows about it. It was a box from Kevin Vision. People were doing some tweaking. So when you take the original box and put the legal one, it allows you to get access to HBO, Cinemax.
So real quick. So here's some other medias. So this could be movies, the comics, whatever it is. So Batman from the Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Ben Affleck. So the live action version was famously brutal and had a huge body count. He killed criminals using firearms mounted on the Batmobile and Batwing and used extreme, often lethal force in his warehouse fights.
Okay, why can we not see an anime version of that?
Again, sir, it's for the kids.
The kid out here in Brooklyn, New York, Brooklyn, Queen, Bronx, we had parents who buy a legal box and give it to see stuff. So don't take it for the kids. You want to try to ever, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, last time I checked, you ain't the only one in this world that watch comics. Forget y'all. Moving on to the next. The Batman from the Tim Burton film, a.k.a. Michael Keaton. So in Batman 1989, he killed the Joker by trying to grapple hook his leg, and a gargoyle caused him to fall to his death. He also caused a fatal crash with the Batwing. Okay, very weird. That's not like a legitimate kill though. It's like you try to grapple hook him and then he just did this. Okay, that's not fatal. I wouldn't consider that fatal. I mean, it is, but not the way like I would project that to be.
It's set up on purpose.
Yeah. In Batman's Return, he straps a bomb to a strongman, cause a fire eater. What the world? Okay. To explode in flames and use the Batmobile to blow up a member of the Red Triangle gang. Interesting.
It's funny how Batman not allowed to kill, but Wolverine allowed to kill.
See, Batman and Wolverine got two different mentalities, okay? Batman and Wolverine got two different mentalities, okay? You got a savage, all right? You got a savage. There's a difference, okay?
Spidey, favorite villain, number one, Lizards. Yeah, but that Lizard is like a hate and love situation. But Doctor Octopus and Goblin,
I want to say that's a hate and love situation. I call that Dr. Jekyll meets Mr. Hyde situation. You got the doctor that is sane, and then you got the lizard that is insane. Literally. That's literally what that is.
like I say, love and hate.
Well, I want to say
You love the doctor, but you hate the lizard.
I guess. Okay, next one up is the Batman from the Batman Beyond, Val Kilmer. He indirectly kills Two-Face by distracting him with his handful. Okay, yeah, okay, I see what that is. I see what they're talking about.
See how many dark versions of Batman are out there?
Indirect, but that's indirectly though. That's not like you really was going for lethal.
Well, you see how many dark versions of Batman out there? We don't get to see the animated version.
And then of course another one's from the comics, which is from Detective Comics. Okay, so right, this is from the comics. For a very brief period at the beginning of the character's publication history, the original Bruce Wayne Batman did kill. In his very first appearance, Detective Comics number 27, he punched a villain into a vat of acid. And in a later issue, Batman number 1, he hanged a criminal from the bat plane. Really, the bat plane? Okay. This lethal approach was quickly dropped to redefine the character with a strict code of killing.
Now, this house would have seen it.
So this is pretty much.
Look at this household.
Back in the days, there were multiple cable boxes in the house. Look. I'm not saying I didn't know about the cable box stuff, okay? Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying I never know. Trust me, back in the days, everyone did that bitch. If you know who you know, everyone did that bitch. Trust and believe me. There'll be people coming to your house questioning you questions just to rip that off.
No, but the thing you got to be slick about it because you got to keep the original box nearby. When you know they're coming in to check the box, all you do is disconnect it, plug the original one, hide that bad boy. They come and check the system. Do they down not to check?
Oh no! Over here, you had to give them permission to even go back to go even check it. If you told them no, we don't have nothing, there's nothing to do, they just got to leave.
They come and out here. They came down how to check and they see this. What happened? I don't know. I don't know how you pick up. You don't have the box anywhere. They looked around. They left.
Oh yeah.
4 hours later.
Oh yeah.
It was a normal thing in the hood.
I mean, yeah, but as far as I know, the only Batman that ever really legitimately killed was literally Thomas Wayne. There is no real other Batman than that. Other than Owlman, of course, but then Owlman doesn't.
But that's the thing. Now, compare that to manga. There are some killing. There are some non-killing. It would be consistent.
Some.
It is an investment.
We're talking about some.
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of killing in manga. What are we talking about? Some. Please.
Dude, ladies and gentlemen, in Dragon Ball Z, it was real killing, but it makes
it look like with Dragon Ball, let's talk about Dragon
Japanese
Ball. There's
version.
a lot of killing to reviving in Dragon Ball. That's what that shit is. Okay, let's leave that shit.
In the Japanese version, there was a lot of it.
Shit, I mean, there's a lot of blood and guts too. They stripped that away from our TV screens, bastards.
Yes.
Bastards.
The time when Tien got his hand cut off, the American version of this dude can. The Japanese version, you see the blood. Even in the manga, you see it. So.
Damn shame. That shit right there. Ever since they bring Dragon Ball Kai, I literally lost my childhood right there.
Oh,
In
Dragon Ball Kai was a disrespect because when I first saw it, I was like, hold on.
No, that what you call whitewashing the TV screen. All right, that's what you call
They didn't
whitewash.
whitewash it; they bleach watch it.
Whitewash, bleach wash, whatever.
Ooh, someone's snitching. Eric said I had a legit box, but he said.
I like to say this right now. We do not know what that comment was that he's saying. Okay, I'm not here for it. I have no recollections. I do not live in no one else's time.
No.
Thank you very much.
Eric is bad, man. Eric.
Thank you very much. I have no recollections of nothing. Y'all can go. With that said, let's go to the next one. Hard people. Hard people.
Art style and coloring. I think this is very critical. The Western comics are almost always printed in full color. In most cases, about 80% of the time, with vibrant and detailed artwork. The art style are very widely, but superhero comics in particular are often a more realistic, muscular, dynamic aesthetic, which is anyone who read comic book from Marvel to DC, there's a unique level of detail showing the muscle. Like you got the ripped thighs,
Well,
the calf muscle,
they do show off the muscle, but they're not as realistic.
the chest,
They go a little bit too extreme.
the arms on the men's side. On the female side, I think almost every female got the perfect shape for some kind of reason.
Not all of them.
No BBL in the comic books.
Well, of course not. But why would it be a BBL in comics?
We have BBL in real life. Why not throw one to who decided to go do on a church?
The day that happens, Lord have.
Hold on. We know how to say that. Every comic book is almost related to what's going on, like the looks, the scenery is identical to real life, right? You put almost everything, like almost every storyline is almost relatable. If that's the case, why not throw the BBL into the mix of things?
Show me someone that's relatable to Juggernaut with his muscles.
Oh, is that true? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
The only closest one is those dumb Brazilian who is injecting themselves in the arm, and that look kind of weird.
They ain't no one that's legitimate enough to go even close. Juggernaut should not even be. He should not be even alive with the body frame he has.
Correct, but we have some Brazilian who trying to get close to it by putting all type of. And it's like. I know I'm just being shady.
Even Blob with his height and fatness should not even be up.
That is true.
You know what? No.
That is true. But you have Juggernaut, you have Blob, but no female in the comic book, in DC or manga with a BBL. I find that strange. Why?
I don't find that strange. I find that smart. It's called
wait.
never having fakeness around fucking comics.
Yeah, but you have people with Juggernaut body size in the comic book, and people with the Blob body size in the comic book. So you're afraid.
That's one thing. No. Look, there's some things you can do with men. Do whatever you please, but with women, you keep that shit straight. I need to have an emotional moment. I needed to get freaking BBLs.
And explain to me on the manga side, why is Bulma summoning the Dragon Ball to ask who to give her a butt lift and a breast lift? Which?
Well, let's get one thing clear.
To all the Vegeta fans, she's the only anime character who trying to use a witching device to witch her own natural.
Let's get one thing very clear here. We all know who Bulma was and still is to this day. Like, we're gonna sit here and believe Bulma's gonna walk away clean just in old age.
But you would ask Shenron.
He has more pride than Vegeta does in her home.
Yeah, but she would ask Shenron to give her a butt lift. and a breast lift. I know someone thinking. I know someone thinking you can't do BBL.
That goes to tell you the culture themselves don't believe in that shit.
Shout out to Devante on YouTube. Now, if you steal this idea from here, then give a shout out to us.
You know what? You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You know what? I swear.
I've been watching Devante. Devante have been slick with his animation version for the YouTube short. Devante, if you take the idea from here and you did a skit whereby your own version of Sharon.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't do it.
Please give a shout out to us that you got it from us. That would be so comical. I will cry laughing. I'll be in tears. I was like, oh, he did it. He allowed Beaumont to ask for a butt lift. And his own version of Sherman like, go to Dr. Miami. I ain't doing that for you.
You know what? I'm done. I'm so done.
Hey.
Just get to the rest of this. Read the rest. Go ahead, Mercy.
I'm only giving some great ideas.
I already know the shenanigans are already coming.
Manga.
I already know the shenanigans is coming.
Manga. The vast majority of manga is published in black or white, totally correct. Color pages are rare and often used for special release on cover. This is also correct. The art style is also distinct, often featuring large, expressive eyes. The eye do a lot of expressions, and stylized, emotive character. Manga artist or mangaka also use a lot of speed line, character mention, and other graphic effect to convey emotion and emotion. Yeah, like if you watch the latest fight that happened in One Piece between Zoro and Lucy, those speed line don't play around at all. But I give them credit though; they don't go too hard on the muscle detail, right? Like they do it in comic book. Unless Dragon Ball Z, when they're powering up, you see it to a degree. Let's not argue that one. You do see it sometimes. When Goku power up, Kawaken, then he go to Super Saiyan. He definitely kicked in. The Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, you see the feature, his eyebrows just appear. It's like some huge thick muscle in his eye. Like, hello, Super Saiyan level 4. You seeing his pack and ab and everything. Vegeta, no difference. Right? We've seen it. Only when it's a power up, you show definition. When there's no power up, they relax. Right? Some manga do the same exact thing. When they're into the fight and it's getting godly, then you start to see, oh, the ladies, not so much heavy on the detail, but I think they're worse in manga than that in comic book. Lady definition are a little overboard. Can we agree on that one?
As far as reaction wise, yeah.
Reaction wise, size wise, feature wise, manga stretch the limit on female characters. They do.
You know what? Now that I'm at the
And why they cannot lie? Because
Wait a
I
minute.
like to shit on slice of life and romance. There's always
Well, I don't care about that. But one thing I will sit here and say is, now that I think about it, so this is some small trolling that I'm gonna do for Boma. You know, as much as they out here throwing wishes, talking about butt lifts and everything else of that nature, but yet you manage to get in other animes, you got these girls swinging their, ching ching ching. I'm just saying. Someone chose a modern look, others chose to go there.
And there'll be a lot of hot tub moment whereby they comparison, or you have one looking like,
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the last. Let's go to
Japanese manga and anime do that a little bit too much, especially in the anime side of things, and it get out of hand.
It might.
You watch Slice of Life, which I try to dodge. You watch Romance, which you pick on me for, but you know they do way more on that end than all the other genre end, and you know that.
Oh, you talking about from that side of the genre? They do
Yeah.
that more.
That's where you find Peter
Yeah,
and
depending on
Eric
certain factors.
and Wally hiding.
Hey,
in
whoa. I said
They
I'm gonna
came.
watch
They
it.
came.
I
They
don't
came
be
for.
that deep in it.
They come for the Jiraiya clan.
And look here. First and foremost, I come from the other side of the clan. There was a pervy sage before there was a pervy sage. Let's remember that.
he was the first one of Jiraiya Sensei.
No, there was someone before Jiraiya. You forget that.
Oh, Matoroshi, yo, that's the first Jiraiya.
Playboy.
Everybody watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. That was the first iconic Jiraiya of all time.
Unless there's someone else.
Goku and Krillin had to produce certain offering to be trained. I never knew in my entire life in martial art that if I want to be trained by somebody, I have to offer a offering of you know what.
Playboy. Salute to the greatness. All right, now come on. Let's not okay, yeah. Get it together. Come on.
And that's why you have Peter.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, to the next slide.
We're here. You just keep laughing.
It's not sure from my end.
Creative control and authorship.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Conclusions.
No. This is what it is.
Oh, I didn't see it. My bad. Creative control and authorship. My bad. I apologize. Comic books in the U.S., more than likely in the U.S., are often a collaborative effort between the writers, the pencilers, the inker, the colorists, and letterers. The intellectual property often belongs to the publisher. I hate to say that, yes, DC and Marvel are prime suspect of this, not the creators. As long as you work for these franchises, if you are a writer, a penciler, an inker, a colorist, a letterer, you create a character under the franchise, it belongs to them, not to you. Either give you a tap on the shoulder, they give you a little payout, and go by your way. That's just it. Manga, the mangaka, the creator, hold much more creative control. They are often responsible for both the writing and the art. So they may have a team of assistants to help with the background and other detail. The story is a simple, singular vision. Meaning, they give a perfect example. Attack on Titan, um, Hunter x Hunter. Those are two good examples.
Right.
The original author of Hunter x Hunter passed away, but he made sure you have a team that understand the vision. We all talk about it several times. You know, mangaka they have a character map. How they want to build a character. How they want to have them age of it. Now, they work together as a sport team, and they get the vision of how they're going to be. It seemed like we and Walla have talked about it several times. For some reason, they actually created himself the writer who started the franchise. Don't live long enough to see it to the end.
Because they're doing
passed
everything
away.
now.
The only one still alive to this day is the creator of One Piece. Amazing. The creator for Dragon Ball, he passed away from sickness. The creator from Hunter x Hunter passed away. There are a lot of great writers, mangaka, who create great anime and they never get a chance to live to see their franchise flush out completely. But if they had a good team, they continue it. there are a few cases where there's some hiccup, and this is where we have the diehard fan base of the mangaka are going in on blogs, on website, complaining, thinking what direction they may take. I remember one example, Dragon Ball. You think about what we like to have Super Saiyan level 5. You have Goku looking like a version of Super Saiyan level 4, but all white. And now we had a discussion. I'll tell you, now you do Ultra Ink to hear some kind of like greatest white. Imagine he actually obtained that version of a power up. It cannot be possible. Since the idea have been flushed out in Super, right?
No.
What do you mean no?
Yeah, no.
Elaborate.
Okay. I will graciously elaborate because it's literally right in your face. You went from Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
GT pushed the idea of 4.
Mm-hmm.
GT's not supposedly canon. So derail that. Back to Super Saiyan 3. Now you
Mm-hmm.
went from Super Saiyan, you went to Dragon Ball Super, and you said, let's go to God form. You cut the fucking numbers off. Thank you very much. Enough said.
And he bought a Daima.
I don't count that one. Diamond
Black-
does not connect back to the original storyline of Super, aka fuck that form.
Black Boma, you are invited to this platform. We would like to have your input about that direction because it will be an interesting discussion to have. And any heavy Dragon Ball fan who is heavy into it, including Homie Hodge. Shout out to you. That is what I'm trying to talk about because there's all that particular singular vision that need to get passed down. This is why Hunter x Hunter is one of the greatest anime out there, but it had a manga that was based on the source material. And the manga source material is far out there past the anime version, which I think the real issue is, remember you say the mangaka who have more creative control? Not only in the writing and the art, but when you're going to do an adaptation of the anime, they also had an input on that. Am I correct?
Okay.
So, compared to comic books, whereby the intellectual property belong to the publisher, aka DC or Marvel, the writer, nor the penciler, nor the ink, nor the color, nor the have the creative input in case they're going to go to anime or live action. They could say, you know what, we will do something different. For example, Star Wars, George Lucas. When Disney took over it, did they follow the material that the writer, aka George Lucas, created? No, F him. Do it this way. You see a lot of interesting of certain characters from DC or Marvel was not following the source material, but they do their own matchup according to the owner of the IP, aka intellectual property, Marvel, DC, whatever. Well, on the flip side, on the manga side, the creative control mostly go to the creator himself. Now, there's a exception to Sunrise, aka
But let's be honest.
Go ahead.
I want to throw this plot twist in this one a little bit because the only small plot twist, right? The manga itself, which is why the main creator can have control, is because they're the ones writing said book for themselves, and they're putting it under a production company that's producing it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, the title of the book, everything, all the intellectual properties from the creator, strongly hold. Whereas there's creators working under corporations for Marvel and DC. In a sense, put it like this: manga are pretty much in comparison to those of America that write "quote unquote" graphic novel books. Well, not graphic, but not graphic novel, but just novel books. For instance, what is one of those movies? Harry Potter is one of them.
That's an exception. The writer of Harry Potter not only created the book, she actually had created control of the direction of the movie.
What's the other movie I'm thinking about? The other movie series. The movie series with the Mockingbird. I forgot the name.
The Hunger Game.
Yeah, Hunger Games. So stories like those, like where the actual writer has their intellectual property, and then they
No,
convert
very
it.
well, Kate. Very, very well. And
Right.
Aragon.
Those
Aragon's
are
another
the
one.
equivalents.
Aragon's another one. It was written by a 19-year-old boy who booked actually making the movie. But he wrote multiple books afterwards. They didn't produce many series of it. They only did one movie and that was it.
Of which one?
You know what we call Aragon?
Okay, no, I haven't heard it.
That's only very rare whereby the creator of that particular book was able to have created more control of the movie production. Everyone else, we bought the IP, we'll make a movie. How we feel how we want to put it, we'll do it this way. Yeah, you wrote the comic, but we don't care. We want to do it this way. But here's where the publisher, the company, lose sight. What you want to make a movie or cartoon or animated version of? The fan base came from the creator's side, not from your side. The fan base loved the creator artwork and the storytelling, not your idea of the storytelling.
I mean, yeah, because it's pretty much the same thing, right? Because, like, for instance, one of the most easiest one of them all, right? Power Rangers. When people would never know, like, until you actually took back and realized, wait, Power Rangers came from this side. I'm like, and then you go look at that and you be like, oh,
yeah,
wait a minute, this is not the same.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that is the biggest example, by far biggest. All the fans of Power Rangers back in the 90s, Power Rangers original. Yeah, Power Rangers been here for 30 years. Yeah. But technically speaking, they've been here for more than 45 years. And the original storyline, when you start to look into it, you start to, like Wally and I, we both did. When we found out, we were like, hold up. So the first Power Ranger we saw is now after the first Power Ranger. Okay. Then you start to venture in, start to look in. Then certain vendors we see here don't really match the storyline they had over there. And you start to know there's a gap. So you're like, where's all that coming from? I really understand Sabian, who the original one who bought the lights and the bring Power Ranger to the US, were paying for the lighting from the Japanese version, who actually created that. And they were being confused with the storyline in the American version when you start to find out the Japanese version make more sense than the American. Which is crazy. Because after a while...
Not really. Because when you think about it, you always had that thought process, right? Like, why is Zordon always in a freaking tube looking like some air bubble human head? Like, you always question that. Like, why? Like, why is he in a tube looking like a freaking... Like, why? You always question that. And there was never no backstory to that.
The way you threw that one there, it was like a...
Oh, you know I was coming. Like, there ain't no way I wasn't coming for that. Like, you never... like, no one ever asked that question. Like, I always ask that question. Why was he in a tube?
If you're a nerdy person to detail, you will ask the question, what is the backstory of this guy being? What caused him to be in the first place? That was really behind it. And when you start to watch all the other Power Rangers, you start to notice the gap between the storytelling until you start to see the Japanese version, you start to trace, you start to realize there's many other versions that never meet the US yet, but it's over there already. Like, this ain't connecting. Why didn't they bring it over here? What's the problem? Remember you had that same discussion about Voltron? We didn't with Go Lion, but Go Lion is not going to make any sense over here, so they have to rebrand it as Voltron.
Yeah,
remember that discussion we had back then?
As far as names, but I'm talking about as far as just the actual visuals of the story.
Yeah,
like, it would have been actually pretty good to know that, freaking Zordon was motherfucking slapped up, and then he had a motherfucker put his soul in a freaking tube.
Then that would have been clear if they would have given that backdoor. They never did.
And then to top it off, you even find I even found out more stories the other day, right? So the Golden Power, like, so supposedly, right now, you remember the project where there was supposed to be a more darker version of the
Power
Green
Rangers.
Ranger,
Yeah, that
right?
project they was working on. I forgot what the name of the
It
over
was
the
like Lord some. It was Lord something. It started
Lord
with a D.
Darko, Lord Darko. I forgot. I
Yeah,
remember over the back.
right.
I think that's the channel on YouTube channel. They was working on that project.
Right. So that project. So the idea of the project was, so Tommy never became good. He stayed evil. Eventually portrayed it, what's her face,
Power
right,
Rangers.
and started to take over. But
Mhm.
once he went to Zordon, because pretty much Tommy was supposed to get the quote unquote white Power Ranger suit, but he wasn't finished yet. And by the time he came in, took it for himself, fused it with the Green Ranger suit, and made his own new power suit that gave him more stronger powers overall. So when you think about stuff like that, I'm like, that would actually be good to know.
And the thing is, they were working on that Darko, but it was making way more sense because it was producing a much better storyline than what we were seeing on TV. There's a lot of animes that were made almost kiddie-like out here for the US production when the actual manga was darker.
Which is a lot of them.
Until recent time, certain manga are now doing identical to what they see on their anime. It is a darker state. It is that. It is something. This is why we say manga is for all ages. Same thing with anime is for all ages. But it would be preferred that it stays similar, not watered down. Because you have these huge, massive fan base on a global scale across the globe that is following the manga, really to the conclusion. At their core, comic book and manga are both forms of sequential art. This is the most fundamental similarity. They both use a series of illustration and text, like speech bubble and capture to tell a story. The difference are largely a result of the cultural and industrial context in which they were created. The difference between a comic book and a manga is not about one being better than the other. They are two distinct and valid forms of sequential art that have evolved differently due to their respective culture and industry, aka the West and Japan. Comic books are often defined by the vibrant, collaborates, and long-running superhero universe that is the MCU and DC universe, while manga is known for its distinct art style, single character, no single creator vision, and focus on long form and character driven narrative. This is why I think when it's a single creator vision, you have one idea and you let that thing grow, let that thing manifest, let that thing develop over time, which create a deep rooted fan base. There are a lot more deep-rooted fan base on the manga side compared to the comic book side. I would totally agree on that one. They hit a lot. One Piece is territorial. You got a fan base for Luffy, you got a fan base for Zoro, you got a fan base for Sanji. Gosh, you got a unique fan base for Nami. Say anything fun about Nami, you get jumped. You got a fan base for you got a fan base for Chopper. Don't say Pikachu better than Chopper. It will beat your ass. They brutal. And with any fan base, yeah, we do have some heated debate about about a particular character, and they grow. Like Dragon Ball Z will have the biggest debate of all of every other franchise out there. It is Dragon Ball franchise that have the huge amount of debate and argument. I don't know any other franchise that don't have beef within their clan more than Dragon Ball. If you think so, you bring the heat. So far, nobody even bring the heat yet because we were waiting for people to come in here and tell us we were wrong about what we were saying, but we're not. Besides Dragon Ball franchise, who have beef? There is Bleach, yet I will believe, yet, because there was some fan base that had an issue with the direction of how it first ended and took a huge hiatus.
I mean,
but it
no,
came back.
there is anime that has beef. If you're talking about just within the anime, yeah, there's anime
Yes.
that has beef. Naruto, there's a lot of
Okay.
anime.
Naruto, yet there is some beef with the director of Naruto.
One of the biggest anime beefs that everyone always throws down is about Sakura being useless.
Who?
Sakura being useless. They always throw in the bus, which we all know is Tenten. She's the most useless character in the whole Naruto world. Let's call that shit straight.
That is another beef within itself because they look at every other character, they have a unique level of growth over time. But that particular character, everybody wondering like, what happened to this character? Like, why you dropped the ball? Like, what's going on with this one? That was the issue. Dragon Ball, man, is mostly between Goku and Vegeta. Then on the side, next level is Gohan. After that, there was Piccolo beef issues. Bulma, I throw her on the bus as first as I can. I do. I ain't gonna front. I do. Because the way she came up, you don't understand. If you understand, she the petty.
Is it Whitey?
Woman from Dragon Ball. What think she was doing the whole time? You know what the stunt that she be pulling off in Dragon Ball? Yes. And she got away with an egotistic maniac called Vegeta. I'm the prince of all Saiyan, but you don't have to worry.
Let's be real here. There's a time where even she thought of Goku at a time. Before he got hitched.
No. First, she had a crush on Goku. Before he got hitched. Or Chi-Chi beat her to it. It was Yamcha. Yamcha had an interest, but he got his ego taken by Vegeta. Vegeta said, I'm snatching you. And she can do it. And ever since then, Yamcha had never been the same. They intentionally cooked Yamcha. You shaking your head.
No, I'm shaking my head because that's the truth. That's why. That's the shaking of the head of sorrow, not the shaking of the head of...
That character, since Vegeta took over, to Super, he had been in a cook mindset. They made him feel like he could never get his manhood back. The fact that he didn't even make it to the Dragon Ball Super team in Powerball tournament, he got left out. Master Yoshi had to take his spot, of all people, and he's old.
He was never going to have that spot to begin with. The kids would have had his spot before him.
Oh shit!
Like, let's keep it a $100. Goten and Trunks would literally have his spot every day of the week.
See what I'm saying? They did that character.
Let's be real. People already vouched that Majin Buu would have the spot. But we all know Majin Buu be on some, I got to eat, but then I got to sleep.
That one character can never put on a diet.
And plus, I ain't gonna lie, Majin Buu is literally the most broken character. He'll be cheating.
Yeah.
Make multiple clones of himself, healing, because he has the Elder Kai absorbed in his body still.
And you don't have to kill. You don't have to kill. He just eat you.
That's another thing. Because eating you is not killing you.
No. That is one rule.
No.
In the tournament. That's a rule in Tournament of Power. You can get away with.
That's what I'm saying. He's cheating for the freaking role of the whole tournament.
They had him in the Tournament of Power, and they said no killing. But I'm just eating. Yes, you're not dead, but you're in him.
That's why it's a problem. That's why it's a freaking problem.
He was a rule break. I think that's why Akira
That's why they
Toriyama did
never
not.
put him in there. Imagine how easy it is if you just absorb
Yeah,
everybody. You
I
see
agree. I agree. I agree. If they put Majin Buu into the tournament power team, that is pure cheating because first and foremost, you don't have to kill nobody. All you gotta do is eat you, absorb your power with his. It'll be a power. So imagine if you go to Pride Trooper power and suck him in.
Literally, just take one or the other. If you take Jiren or freaking the other guy,
No,
that's over.
Joe would never let it. No, Joe would never let it happen. You know that right
He probably would let it if he didn't know what it does.
now. Remember when Boo turned Vegito into a candy, and he would be the most powerful candy ever. Even
But
Death
see, that's
Battle,
different though. That's
even
sort of
even
different. Though. You
Death
gotta
Battle
think
had jokes about that. He said
oh
that
no,
was
no,
one.
no.
That was
We
one
know
candy.
how that works. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. There's all different to that though.
But the way Death Battle would say, that's the only candy that can do your throat. The way they would say that, I was like, pause.
Yeah.
You can F up your throat. I was like, whoa, time out. You can even indigestion.
Yeah.
It can take out your teeth. You get gingivitis. That was one powerful candy.
It was.
You can't even digest if you wanted to.
You actually
So
can't.
if they could do that to Vegito, imagine they turn Jim into a candy.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
Right. Yeah. But all right, though. We had our fun. Let's get this over with.
Final
real
thoughts.
quick. Well, I'll have my final thoughts once I throw out the next shows for the next days. So real quick, Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to Coach Ferg and Paul Bennett show as they talk about hire or fire, cracking the job hunt. On Saturday, we have the upcoming show at the Operation Hangout. We have What If Luke Skywalker Joined the Dark Side? And then from there, of course, as you guys know, to be announced, the Gray Area show will to be announced, so they'll figure that out. Friday, just dial it back. Friday will also be a to be announced because the show hasn't been posted yet.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Tuesday show hasn't been posted yet, and next week, stay tuned as me and David will have a clash of words as we talk about the ultimate crossover that has been popularized throughout the internet, where we talk about Superman going against Goku.
Oh God, this is something I hate to. I mean, that is one of the most annoying crossover. A lot of disrespect to Goku. I like. There's a lot of anime characters we could have put in the mix that were broken, but done tremendous. We'd have put Majin Buu. Yeah. Think Superman gonna beat Majin Buu? No. Superman, new candy. Done deal.
Yeah, but that's Majin Buu though. That's a different story.
That's a quick kill.
Of course.
But here's the fun thing.
Different story.
Goku is stronger than Majin Buu.
Huh?
Goku is stronger than Majin Buu.
From a sense of just right there. But when we talking about all of the abilities and skills, I'm sorry to say it. Is it Majin Buu still doing the same thing to Goku at the end of the day? Still eating him, still putting his lights out, everything else in that sense? Don't make no difference.
I don't know about that part, but I'm waiting for that debate, waiting for that argument.
Look, at the end of the day, the argument for Goku and Superman is going to be what it is. But one thing's for sure, understand, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone that thinks that this is going to just be a nice walk in the park breeze, no,
it's not.
Because again, I'm telling you right now, understand, there was a time when this was mentioned. Whenever this first time mentioned, you better think to yourself, okay, when was this fight idea mentioned again? And then you think to yourself, when was Goku at that point in time? Because this is the thing about this fight that we're going to be talking about. The timing of when this argument started, and then how did they look throughout the years. And I'm telling you right now, early in,
maybe
Superman gets his coins.
Yes.
Later on now, definitely, you got to give it to Goku later on. But we're definitely going to talk about how these fights would differently clash out differently and all this and how this all plays out.
And based on present time power up, I don't think Superman will have a win on it because women has it. They had to train now for the Black Freezer arc because there's a lot of debate about Black Freezer is almost as strong enough as Beerus or Zeno,
No, I
but
never
I
heard.
doubt that's the case.
Well, no, so put it like this. So Black Frieza is good enough to KO both Goku and Vegeta, but at the end of the day, he's not as good as the gods. Well, at least Beerus said it anyway.
But Beerus is considered the strongest destroyer of them all.
Right. And besides, we all know Frieza is nothing but a child with an instrument amount of power. Literally.
And now that we know that it would be more Dragon Ball Z content coming up soon because they let us know. We don't know if it will be Dragon Ball
Yep.
Diamond Season 2 or be Dragon Ball Super Season 2. I think we'll have
I'm
that
hearing more
discussion.
super stuff, more so. I just
This is why
comments.
we're inviting Black Boomer. I'll keep saying again. You're needed out here. We want to pick your brains. Think about it. And shout out to Call Me Hard YouTube channel. Please check out the YouTube channel. He got a lot. He been doing it for almost a decade now. He's a huge fan of Dragon Ball. He makes his own comic book. I'll give a shout out to him as well. Anyone who is heavy on the Dragon Ball Z franchise, you can come bring your debate issue or bring your thought process on next week. And we have that debate between Dragon Ball versus Superman. And all you Superman fanboy,
Superman.
Goku versus Superman. If you're a fanboy of Superman, you can bring your craziness over here. You will have that debate. We have that discussion. That's what it is. Because comic and manga characters, they're not on the same plane. That's why I have my issue number one, because if you do on power scale, it doesn't add up.
Oh, but it does. I mean, again, I'm not wasting the argument because I'm not wasting time to make the argument. But yeah, I'll save it for next week because honestly, I'm gonna say it right now. Anybody that watched Dragon Ball knows already. There's a point where you raise up, and if you gas out, you're done.
I know,
One
because
person that ain't gassing out.
I'm going to use the same measurement when they talk about in Death Battle YouTube channel, talk about TNT, the amount of explosion, and so on and so forth. What is the impact? 'Cause if you go down to that measurement, you will find out it's not adding up.
What measurement again?
Not an explosion measurement, but what the amount of explosion it takes to blow up the planet.
Okay. I mean, that's not between them though, so that don't make no difference.
Okay, we'll have the argument. We'll get there.
I mean, that's not really gonna be an argument. I mean, okay, yeah. Well, who can explode a planet more better, Goku or Superman?
Not more better based on power level.
I mean, either which way, it don't make no difference because it's not between them.
No problem. So on that note, I'm looking forward to that argument. Looking forward to that debate. I will take my boy's side over Superman anytime, any day. On that note, this is CBN Tech Talk, aka Black David, aka Bear Paw, aka the spokesman for Goku. And this is Wally, aka the legal analyst for Vegeta.
See, every single time he does this, he fails to do this. He keeps on doing this. He keeps on doing this. He just keeps on doing this. He said that he's the natural spokesperson for freaking Goku. Isn't Goku the same motherfucker that tried to use Bulma, Vegeta's freaking wife, to motherfucking use it till he can get training by the Elder Kai? Isn't it the same bum that tried to do that? You disrespectful piece of heathen? What type of man are you?
That is our issue with the Dragon Ball.
You need to stop. Again, just because I chose to pick a fight and make a standing ovation where it was factual and I can prove it, doesn't mean that I stand on side Vegeta. Even though Vegeta is one of the most best important characters to Dragon Ball. Most people can't argue that. So take your high school hatred out of this. I need to let it go. Vegeta's grown up a long time ago, all right? Let it go.
Oh, no.
All right, Keep making these things. I'll keep making these Goku shots. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
I'll hold that for next week.
Yeah. Hold it for next week. Okay, yeah.
All I had to hold.
The spokesperson for Goku is allowing Goku to be buried. Why he ain't fighting back? Because he knows it's true. He knows it's true. Stand down. Yeah. Don't you dare. Don't stop. Don't start.
I need all that ammo to bring on Wednesday. So when we have that argument,
I'm going to have all the ammo because, again, like I said again, there's going to be one person that's going to power up, and decline because he can't maintain it long enough to save his ass cheeks. Again,
whatever.
don't be mad at me. Remember, timing is everything. And in a certain time, you had your moment. In a certain time,
this is why we have this show. So
I'm going to call it down the line. I'm going to call it down the line.
Now, any other anime that have beef, we do the same thing. We have that beef, we could bring in. And we know we have some diehard fan, but we diss their particular character. They'll come after us. Mandrill, you there? On that note, good night. Be safe. We should see you back next week. Peace.